The Toronto Maple Leafs had a huge decision to make today on who to keep and who to cut for the rest of this preseason, and some of these choices are going to shock you. We're going to break down this and much more coming up on this episode of Hat Trick HQ. But before we get into it, we got to say that almost 71% of you guys watching this video aren't subscribed to the channel, so if you're not subscribed, you want to keep up to date on all things Leafs, all things NHL heading into this season, make sure you go down below and hit that subscribe button. But with that said, before we get into the cuts, we got to talk about Berube, because Berube come out today and spoke on reuniting Matthews and Marner up on that top line. And without further ado, let's just jump into right what he had to say here. He said, just from previous years watching them play, they've been very good together for a long time, and he says he kind of likes to work in pairs. As you go down here, he says you can rotate another guy in and out, but you can just go back to a Perron and O'Reilly, who were similar, but at times I had to split them up. They needed a new line mate for a bit. So like he says here, he's done this in the past with two stars he had in O'Reilly and Perron. He liked how they played together, but at times you need to split them up if they're in a slump, if it's just not working for your team. So it's just great to hear that Berube is open to putting Marner and Matthews back up on that top line with Matthew Nyes, because I think this line could be a really good one. It's one we didn't really get to see a lot last season, but when you have such a great playmaker like Marner paired with a guy who's going to put the puck in the back of the net 69 times like Austin Matthews, it's only going to lead to success. But like Berube says here, at times you need to find them a new line mate, maybe a Max Domi, maybe a William Nylander, to shake the lineup up if it's not working, if you're in a little bit of a slump. Just shaking it up does help, but it is great to hear that he is open to putting these guys back together, because I think Marner is going to have a crazy year. I'm just going to come out and say it. I've said it before. He's going to hit 100 points for the first time in his career. It's contract year. He's going to be trying to get the most money that he can, and that's going to lead to him playing a lot better on the ice, or pushing himself a lot more on the ice. Not playing better, but just pushing himself to an extra level. And if you put him with Matthews, who's going to bury it every time you give it to him, it's only going to boost him as his stats, and just boost his mentality as a player, that he can go out there and he can create these scoring chances and people are going to score on them. But you can also, split him up and put Domi up there. You want to play Nylander on center, put Nylander and Marner on that second line. Those guys will be a great pairing as well. Another goal scorer with a great playmaker. And I'm just excited they didn't trade Marner, because I think he's going to play a huge factor in this season for Toronto Maple Leafs, and they're looking pretty good here now in the preseason. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on that down below in the comment section. We're going to get into the second topic of the video today, which is Robertson injury update. And yes, unfortunately, Nicholas Robertson is day-to-day with injury right now. If we just bring up the report from David Alter on X, he says Nick Robertson is day-to-day with an upper body injury per the Leafs. And this is very, very unfortunate, because obviously there was such a big saga surrounding Nick Robertson before the season even started on if he was going to sign, was he going to be traded, he requested a trade. But now in preseason, I mean, he's looked like the best Leaf on the ice. I'm just going to come out and say it. He has looked unreal. He's been scoring in almost every game, scoring multiple goals in their past preseason game, and making a case for himself to make this roster, which he definitely does deserve. I mean, he's playing on a different level right now. It's just crazy the amount of goals he's scoring. He's looking very good out there on the ice, and now, unfortunately, he does go down with an upper body injury. It is day-to-day, so it doesn't seem too serious at this point in time, but it is a factor that's going to play in. Is it going to be fully healthy when the season starts? Is it not that big of a deal? Maybe they're just resting him for the regular season. I think that's what will happen if he has a injury here. Obviously, he has an injury, he is day-to-day, but depending on how serious it is, he'll probably be resting up here now until the regular season. But I just think Nick Robertson is a phenomenal talent, and he's really shown it here in this preseason. And if I was the Leafs, I'd keep Nick Robertson over signing one of these guys that he got on a PTO. But that's just my opinion. I want to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. We're going to get into the main topic of the video today, which is Leafs make a huge decision. And yes, this is something we have been waiting for a while. We're getting down towards the end of the camp, or towards the end of the preseason now, and cuts need to be made for the Leafs team to have enough players on their roster. And today, they made a huge decision on who to cut and who to keep. And if we just bring it up here, I mean, from our friend of the show, Kyle Cushman on X, give him a follow. He's great with all this prospects, Leaf stuff, PWHL stuff. Give him a follow on Twitter. Good friend of the show here. If we just take a look at who they cut today, over on the right side on out, they cut Kyle Clifford, Dakota Mermis, and Fraser Minton. Yes, they cut Fraser Minton and kept Easton Cowan. This is a massive decision that the Toronto Maple Leafs made today. Obviously, Fraser Minton was a guy last preseason who played unreal. Sheldon Keefe loved him, kept him, played him for the first 4 games of the season so he wouldn't burn his ELC, and then sent him back to the WHL. But it's seeming now that they're more in on Easton Cowan than maybe we thought. He's getting kept so far into this preseason. And if we just bring it up again, the guys are, the PTO guys are there too, like Pat Chiaretti and Steven Lorentz. So you still got Easton Cowan fighting for a spot amongst NHL veterans like Lorentz, like Pat Chiaretti. So it's just great to see that Easton Cowan is impressing people in Toronto enough to where he's kept so late into this training camp to where he may be fighting to get on this roster this season, which would be really great for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think Easton Cowan is an unbelievable talent. What he did in the juniors last year was unreal, and if he can even take a little bit of that with him into the NHL, I mean, this guy's going to be a phenomenal piece for the Toronto Maple Leafs going into the future, no doubt about it. But the big decision is letting Fraser Minton go, well, not go, but letting him go out of training camp, because you know, last season, like I said, this guy was talked about so much. He was a great center, and now getting cut, not even into the final cuts yet, and him getting cut, I don't know how, you know, big of a decision this is. It is a huge decision, but I don't know how big of an impact this will have on Fraser Minton. I think maybe they're just worried about getting him back into juniors, developing his game a little bit more before he can be a full-time Leaf. So hopefully it doesn't affect him this much, and that he can go out there in the WHL this year, play his game, and just be that guy for whatever team he does play for. But it is very interesting and a very big deal that they did keep Easton Cowan here. I mean, just seeing how much he improved year to year over last season, that probably played a big factor into it. I think he's played pretty solid in this preseason as well. I don't think he's looked very out of place there. I just think we get to see him in these next few preseason games. That will really be the ultimate deciding factor alongside Nick Robertson, because these are two guys who play the exact same position. You also got two guys on PTOs who play that exact same position. So it is going to be a battle going into this, to the end of this preseason. I'm really excited to see it, because I think Easton Cowan could be a guy they do keep. If I had to put a percentage on it, I would probably put it at like 30% that they do keep him for opening night. But it is still an opportunity, and it's still a chance that it can happen, because letting him be this far into preseason with the Toronto Maple Leafs not getting cut yet, when you have veterans that are there fighting for a spot as well, just shows how high they are on this guy and how great of a player he actually is for this Toronto Maple Leafs team. But this is a big decision today by Brad Living and the Toronto Maple Leafs. I really like it, though. I think Easton Cowan definitely deserves to be there. Maybe they could have kept Fraser Minton for a few more games, but hey, you know, you can't have it all. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts on that down below. Do you think Easton Cowan has a chance at making this opening night roster? Let us know down below in the comment section. We're going to get into everybody's favorite topic here, which is comment of the day. And the comment of the day today goes to Bix. Bix says Stolarz is the biggest pickup of the offseason. I'm kind of on board with this. I think Stolarz has really played very well in this preseason for the Toronto Maple Leafs, looking like he could be the #1 goalie going into this season. I don't know if you want to take it away from Joseph Woll. I think he's played a great preseason as well, but it's definitely going to be a fun battle between these guys going in throughout this whole season, and I really do like the Stolarz pickup. I think this guy's a fantastic goalie for the Toronto Maple Leafs going forward. But appreciate the comment. If you guys want me to feature in the next comment of the day, make sure you're down below and leave a comment on this video. Also, while you're down there, leave a like. It helps push these videos out to all the NHL fans on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel as well. We're trying to hit 5,000 before the season starts. And if you want to check out a video we did the other day, it'll be popping up on your screen right now. But as always, I've been your host, KC. Keep your stick on the ice.